Hello, hello, hello. I wanted to talk to you about aligning to your soul. What happens when we are in alignment? Typically, when we are in alignment, we actually experience flow really easily. But alignment isn't always what you think it is. So, I just wanted to talk to you about some examples of alignment and when you're in it and when you're not, and how you can shift back into it. So, first of all, when I talk about alignment, I'm really talking about alignment from you to your soul, alignment from you to your light, alignment from you to your higher being, however you want to hold it. But it's this idea that everything that you are doing in life and everything that you're committing to is in alignment to a higher purpose. And usually that higher purpose is your goals, your service, your purpose in life, what you're choosing to do. And so when we think about alignment on the big picture, we think about first needing to know what your purpose in life is. And then once you have your purpose, how you want to relate to it. And then what you want to bring into alignment around it. And that means making decisions. You might make decisions to create new things in your life, let go of old things in your life, expand things that you already have going on in your life. But those are all conscious choices that you're making to live in alignment. So that's one way, that's sort of the big picture view of living in alignment. But then there's the small picture view of living in alignment. And that picture is, what are we doing every day? When do we experience those moments of alignment? When do we know we're so out of alignment? And I wanted to just talk into different experiences. So, most people know they're in alignment when there seems to be an abundance of flow around whatever they're doing. Like they get up just in time, it's easy to get themselves ready and walk out the house, and whatever their day lines up well, people they're thinking about end up calling them. That's kind of the energy of alignment. You have some ideas about what you want to do, who you want to be with, and suddenly that just starts flowing in your life, and you're not really working very hard at that. That's flowing in alignment, and those things that you are choosing are aligned to your highest good. Then there are other moments in our lives when we believe we're in alignment, but it almost doesn't feel like we're in alignment. And I'll give you an example. A couple months ago, I was on my way out the door to go to some event. And for whatever reason, I walked out to my car and I forgot my phone. So I had to go back in. I get back out to my car and I forgot something else. And so then I went back in. Then, as I'm sitting in my car getting ready to go, I get this important phone call. So I stay seated and take the call. And meanwhile, in the back of my head, there's all this like, oh my God, why can't I get out of my house today? What's going on? And should I be going to this event? Is this important? Blah, blah, blah. And so I have all this self talk going on, a chatter in my brain. And in that moment, I become, how can I say it? I'm not present to the phone call I'm taking. So I miss some of what this important phone call was about. And so then when I get off and I'm like, I think we agreed to this, but I'm actually not 100% sure. And so now I'm feeling a little discombobulated. So I finally leave the driveway and I start to go down the street and I eventually land on the highway. And in front of me is this huge accident, like maybe 2 miles. And I thought to myself, oh dear God, now I'm going to be even later because now I'm sitting in this accident. But as I was sitting there, I started to think about, oh, if I left the house when I had planned to leave the house, I probably would have been right in the midst of that accident. Or I might have been trying to avoid it, but I would have been a participant in some way. And so, what appeared to be that I was out of alignment and I started questioning, am I supposed to be going to this event or not, was not about the event. Like all those little bumps in the road brought me to my delay, which then saved me probably from being in some sort of accident. And I love it that someone posted last a couple of days ago around her level alignment when she went to go make a salad. And she started to do a bunch of things that morning. And the idea was when she finally got to the rutabaga, she realized that it was a root vegetable, and how when we're rooted into the earth's energy, we're more centered and grounded. So her sort of interrupts and disruptions brought her to a new awareness, a new insight, a new way of being, a new way of holding something or thinking of something. So, what I'm proposing to you is that even when you're having some disruption in your life, in your day, in your world, I want you to hold it with this opportunity or possibility that there might be something at work for you that's creating the disruption so that you get to something bigger, better, or different than what you had intended. And that's how our guides work. Our guides sometimes come through, our spiritual guides, and we might have a plan. And as long as we're married to the plan, then we ignore all of these other clues or instances of things going on, and we just sort of drive ourselves to the plan. And sometimes when we arrive at the completion of the plan, it's actually not quite what we wanted. And so, if you're driving in your life somewhere metaphorically, whether it's a new job, a new relationship with money or finances, or just how you're going to take care of your health, and you're noticing a whole bunch of disruptions in your path to doing this, take a moment and say, oh, what could these disruptions mean? Or what are these disruptions causing me not to do? What are they preventing me from? And then look at, is that thing really important or necessary? Is it in alignment with where you're going to go? And sometimes you'll get the answer in that moment, and sometimes you won't get the answer to these disruptions for days, weeks, sometimes months. Sometimes it's a whole year. I remember one time I was up for a job and I didn't get it. And it was so shocking to me because I had all the skills, the interviews went fantastic. I couldn't understand why I didn't get this job. Only to know, like 3 months later, a bigger, better, and more impactful job came along. And I thought, oh, had I gotten that job, I wouldn't have been free to even look at this new possibility that was so much better for me. So, with this understanding that alignment sometimes means your life is running so beautifully and everything is popping up just the way you plan, or sometimes you're having disruptions, and that is also alignment, can be alignment. It gives you the opportunity to pause and ask yourself some questions about why you're doing something. Is it really important? How it's impacting you, how it might align to your purpose. And if you always have trouble getting to do something, then you might say, I've tried this thing 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't seem to show up for me easily. That maybe that is out of alignment. And then you can take some different choices or make some different choices. I was working with someone the other day who, when we were working together, she said, I know what alignment looks like to me. Alignment looks like when I have perfect flow, and if I don't have perfect flow, I'm not in alignment. And so I brought up this idea of disruptions. Like, so how do you face disruptions? And she said, I get really angry and mad because every morning I do my meditations, I send out my intentions, and I'm clear on what I want for that day. So when disruptions show up, I get angry and mad. And so I gently said, so when you're in your anger or mad, are you present to what you're doing? Are you in alignment with how you want to be? And of course, the answer was no. And so I helped her to broaden her definition of what alignment is and how alignment can serve you, whether you're in flow or whether you're in disruption. And that through trusting, whether we're in flow or in disruption, that alignment is happening on behalf of our intentions, on behalf of the purpose that we're aligned to, that we want to create in this world. That spirit's working with us, soul's working with us, our spirit guides are working with us. If we can trust that, then we can look at the gift in everything that we experience in life, whether it's the disruptions or not. So I leave you with those thoughts. I leave you with this idea of broaden your energy and how you hold alignment. And I leave you with a new paradigm. Alignment isn't always flow, that it also can be disruptions as well. All right, have a fantastic day. I'd love to hear your comments, insights, or even stories of how you thought you were out of alignment and you actually were being aligned for something bigger or better than what you could hold. Oh, actually, I do want to say one more word about that. So, one of the things that gets in our way sometimes, and we may feel like we're out of alignment or there's some disruptions, is that our mind can only hold for us what it can imagine. However, our soul can hold for us so much more than what our mind can imagine. So sometimes we put what we can imagine forward in life, in our intentions or our purpose or our visions or our goals, and they're not happening, or they're happening in this weird way and you don't even think they're happening. But if we live in trust, if we live in this idea that every time we put out our intentions, every time we create our purpose, we're actually placing in order with the universe or with our soul to help bring that into our lives. If we live in that idea, then we can trust that what's showing up is the exact right thing for us. Even sometimes when what's showing up doesn't feel exactly what you wanted, but it might be what you go through to get an even bigger possibility or experience. All right, I will leave you with that definition, the new way of thinking about it, the new paradigm, and I really would love to hear some stories because alignment is just such a fascinating thing. The power of when we can hold both the disruptions and the flow is that it brings a peace to us. It brings a peace and acceptance, which then creates us being present in the moment. So take these words of wisdom, apply them to your life, share what stories you have, and I will see you next week.